By 1906, her monstrous mansion had grown 7 stories high. It was the forces of nature, not the spirit world, that finally shook the house. In 1906, the San Francisco earthquake toppled the upper stories. Sarah saw it as a warning from the other side.
Apparently, Mrs. Winchester thought that the earthquake was some kind of a message from the spirits that she was either nearing completion or spending too much money on the construction of her home. And so she boarded up the front 30 rooms and started building to the back of the estate rather than up again.
Of the original ranch house, only a screen door and the back stairs now remained. Sarah kept building on, and building on, and building on. To the world outside, she was a mystery, a shadowy figure hidden behind her 100 walls. Over the years, many workmen were spooked here. Sarah had a way of suddenly appearing as though she could walk through walls. Maybe her phantom still does.
I was up here one morning filling in this hole where they brought the pipe through, and I felt 3 tugs on the back of my collar, and the third one almost pulled me off the ladder. And you know, I looked back and there was nobody here, and there was nothing hanging down to you know, catch my collar. And I jumped off the ladder and I, you know, ran downstairs, and they asked me why I was so pale and scared. You know, there was something strange in this house.
Mrs. Winchester may have another workforce now, a spectral one.
We came to work, it was early in the morning. We walked down the hallway and I seen a man standing there. And it was a kind of a hazy looking thing, like somebody standing in the fog. I looked at him, and I turned around, and he looked at me and walked up the stairs. When we come over here to look up the stairs, I looked up the stairs and there was nothing there. And we couldn't hear no sound in the house, so I know it was something different.
Psychic Annette Martin senses this ghost too. It's a former workman named Clyde.
I feel Clyde's presence very strongly. He is protecting her. He is protecting the house. He's the caretaker of the house, of the mansion, of the grounds, everything. What he's saying is that they were very good friends. She was still looking for some male companionship, and so he began to talk to her more. What he's saying right now is that he would come up and sometimes just tuck her in bed. That type of love, that type of compassion. He's walking down the hallway and he's been seen. He's not too worried about that. He says that he really wants people to know that he's here, because he's here. And he is taking care of this house, and he always will.
The spirits were summoned when the Winchester bell tolled each midnight. Some heard the sounds of her organ long after Sarah became too arthritic to play. As the mansion grew, the stories of its haunting spread. Sarah withdrew into her private world. She built a parlor for her phantom guests, but real people stayed away.
She felt isolated because many of the women would not accept her due to the fact that she didn't hide her intelligence. She didn't play games. She said the way she saw it, the way she liked it, and if you didn't like it, so sad.
Sarah's isolation was now complete. She withdrew further inside her castle, eluding vengeful spirits by sleeping in a different room every night. When President Roosevelt came calling, it is said she sent him away. After nearly 40 years alone in this house, Sarah went to bed here for the last time. It was 1922. That year, the Winchester Arms Company stopped making money. As it died, so did Sarah. Her will had 13 parts and was signed by her 13 times. But the woman who had more money than she could ever spend had only her most precious treasures locked away. In her safe, 2 tresses of hair, one from her husband and one from her baby.
I can identify with Sarah and what she had in the safe because I had an infant son who died. And the memories that you have of a child that died, a husband that died, are things that you treasure. And you can't bring them back. So whatever you have that's precious and close to you from them or of them are things that are the most valuable. And if she had those in her safe, that tells you a great deal about Sarah Winchester.
The house Sarah built was like a tomb to bury the prophets of violence. In the end, it would enshrine her.
I think that the house does retain the spirit of Sarah Winchester. I think she's everywhere. I think in everything that you see, you have to feel, you have to know that she had a part in all of this. This is Sarah Winchester.
In life, Sarah's conscience was tortured by ghosts of the gun. In death, her bizarre house is a haunting reminder. We know they're here. We've seen them. We've talked to them. They've haunted us. Yet just how and why we see their tormented spirits remains a mystery. And although their lives may have been lived long ago, their faces will keep their tales of loneliness, murder, and passion alive for an eternity. These haunted souls will never let us forget.